Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 29th. Market's already pretty crazy. I see tons of comments, but let's go through the comment. Let's go through the charts first. Let's hold on. Let's see the open here for a second. Okay. Not a whole lot there. They are selling it though. Let's see if it ticks, but we'll pop over here to the chart. E-mini made a pretty significant move down overnight. I mean, yesterday the close was just, man. It still kind of was, remember when I was saying, oh, maybe if I could short 40 and get some and then you could swing it. Although I think you catch that swing, maybe you take it off now. I think that's about as long as I'd be willing to take it for. Anyways, here in the Treasuries moving up too. Quite a bit. It's hard to see the session breaks. I should fix that. What was it in data series? Data series. Trading hours break line should be a dotted line, and it should be a little bit lighter, like gray. There we go. Okay, now I can see. Quite a significant move up. And yeah, I've run out of levels on the bonds. Well, we haven't been here since 2018. When was it? Okay, when we were at 126.16, that was when I was like, we might never see levels this high again, right? I think that's when that was. Like they say, sell in May and walk away, right? It could be a rough summer. Okay, so back to the main chart here. I'm not willing to stick my neck out here yet. No, I didn't start everything, guys. I was so excited. I was so excited to get in and talk to you guys that I just didn't get everything quite set up, apparently. Let's fix that. Okay. And like that. Okay. Bank of Canada and the Richmond Fed are on the economic calendar today. Let's look at the numbers. Okay, so Wednesday, Richmond Manufacturing Index. And let's add Canada and Europe on here so I can see that. Oh, okay. They're making their statement at 8 o'clock. Okie dokie. Oh, can you show me your levels on your ZB? I'm curious, how much is sitting at 152.13? So on my DOM, I see 4009 in ZBM. Oh, how is the liquidity looking here? Here's the ZNU, ZM. Oh, that's the wrong one. Where is it? There's ZNU. They're still putting about the same on both of them in the 10-year. Yesterday I got a quick glimpse at what I could swear was an 8K bit. Whoa. In ZB? Wow. That would be amazing. They are they're putting some interesting large orders on the DOM here. But I don't have enough context to really make a read on what it could potentially mean. Anyway, so what was Shalom saying here? The bloodbath. Dow Jones is going to. The first major Chinese bank failure in 30 years. That happened like a few days ago, isn't it? And Deutsche Bank about to go under $7. The Fed is buying everything under the sun, so it's pretty easy. Yeah. Targeted measures. Denmark homeowners were able to refinance at negative interest rates. What? Oh, and Uzi was having trouble loading. That's interesting. So, I kind of had two thoughts when I came in this morning and saw where things were at. Um, oh, you only get 10 levels, so that's why you can't see it. I see. How come I can't see it? Wait a second. Okay. Now I can see it, but I don't see anything at 13. For some reason, that particular instrument was not set up to show everything. No, I don't see anything unusual. That's weird, dude. Now there is some stuff down at 11, which is a little curious. It's quite a bit to be that far out. Oh, she's gone all right. Yeah, could be. Anyway, so two thoughts. I had two thoughts. The first one was that, man, this is like way too high. I mean, we haven't reached the December highs, but treasuries feel like they're really high. And I keep looking at the news and they're saying, you know, rates are really low. And, oh, actually, sorry, did I say we weren't above it? We are above it. Durr. Okay. I'm dumb. We're way above the December highs. Okay. It's just way too high for starters. And I keep hearing the market say, the bonds are signaling yada, 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 yada. Well, I don't think that bonds can quite be saying the same things that they normally do because you got three things going on here that are not normal. Well, one of them is normal. One of them is that bond prices tend to be higher the later end of the month. Okay. That matters. That these are always happening at the end of the month when we see the moves up. Okay. The second one is that I believe, at least, that China may be trying to buy bonds to devalue their currency. So that's going to move bonds up. And then the other thing is that we have this negative carry thing still going on, right? So the negative carry means that because bonds are being priced above par, there is a negative, you lose money from holding them through to maturity. And so they ask for, you know, a premium on that to make up for it. And that makes the curve more likely to invert. China is selling bonds. We don't know that. I mean, we've seen that they have been selling over the past year, but are they buying or selling today? There's no way for us to know. The theory, though, is that they are actually going to buy bonds so that they can devalue their currency. Now, if they are selling bonds and we're up this high, that's really good, right? Huh? That's really good if it is. I don't think, probably not though, right? Probably not. I think it, but we don't. I mean, there's reasons for them to buy and there's reasons for them to sell. This whole thing about China could go and sell their whole bond portfolio to mess up the United States is nonsense. This is not going to happen. They wouldn't do it. They've toyed around with it. I think it was just FUD. I think that everybody kind of realized that it's not going to happen. So those are the three things. So it's kind of, to me, like everybody's saying, oh, bonds are signaling a recession. Not necessarily, because there are other reasons to explain why they're up. Doesn't mean that it's not happening, but it's just one of many things that's happening. And the thing that's interesting to me is uh, the degree to which the equities have sold these past 2 days. When last week, towards the end of the week, when the data came out, they were all like gung ho. You know what I mean? Their banking system is collapsing and the yuan is falling because of it. Mm. Here again, there's a couple of reasons why the yuan could be falling, right? China has a reason to want to devalue their currency. Okay, so anyways, Dr. Gurr asked, is the Zcash pump of yesterday still a thing, or did it correct? How is it looking versus Bitcoin? So I don't really pay attention to Zcash, but I can give you a rundown of Bitcoin this morning. And as we mentioned, we had a big move up to 9,000 over the weekend. 9,000 offered very, very hard resistance. They actually started to sell, and you can see that cumulative delta on the futures really started to follow it as well. And, it got magically saved at 8,500 again. They just don't they just don't want to let it go. And I would say any other chart, this gap would fill. Any other chart, but they don't want to let it happen. ZEC is undervalued by 3 times. I don't know. It's hard for me to value the altcoins because there's so much noise, and I don't have very good algorithms of filtering out the noise like I do in Bitcoin. But yeah. So Lucas said, didn't they threaten whoever shortened the yuan? Yeah. But that one's that one's kind of like a mind game too. So they said, don't short the yuan, you'll regret it. And I was saying, well, don't trade against a government. But then you have to sit back and say, but is the Chinese government really buying the yuan? Probably not. But we don't really know. There's no way for us to know. We're kind of flying blind here. Well, the market has been very, very quiet the first 10 or 15 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to make any trades today. Wednesday is usually good for some strong trend, but I just feel like that the E-mini has gone a step too far. Daily volume on ZEC is almost 100% of its market cap. In 2016, it was over 5K. I would not read too much into the trading volume. In fact, if I have an instrument that has an unusual amount of trading volume, I would be a little bit wary about it. I would rather be in a coin that has a lot of on-chain transactions, or a lot of on-chain transaction value. Like, not only that they're making a lot of transactions, but that the transactions are really big. Those are the ones that tend to do the best. When you look at something that's small and like the whole thing is trading every day, that just means that you're in what is really a trading vehicle for some people. And if you're in what is a trading vehicle and then the bear comes, what are they going to do? Yeah, they're going to leave you high and dry. The supply of ZEC is 6.2 million. Yeah, so I think I have some of that stuff. Let me look. I mined some of it, but then it ended up not being worth a whole lot. Was it ZEC, or was it called something else that they came off of it? Oh, maybe it was Bitcoin Private. That's right. It was Bitcoin Private that came off of it, and I mined some of it. I guess that means that I have the other fork too. XRP. Well, see, now XRP is an interesting one just because of the way that it moves, man. When they're pumping, man, they pump that one up hard. Somebody really wants to see that thing move up. Really wants. But I'm still like, I don't know. The thing is I can't sit down and look at any level on Bitcoin and say this level is going to hold. Because as far as I can tell, the price action in Bitcoin right now is extremely manipulated. And if they're just like printing Tether to buy things up, there's really nothing that can stop them, except for themselves saying, "Okay, we want to convert it into dollars now." And when they do that, then it gets ugly. But they're not going to do that until they get larger buy-in from the public. So they just keep pumping it and pumping it until they get enough people to buy into it, you know. But then when it goes, it's going to go so fast, you won't be able to react, basically. You'll just be out. It'll be ugly. XRP has the best tech, and the coins burn. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't like it because of, it's a company and everything, but I agree. And I think it has potential because of that. No, they're buying it 100%. I'm telling you, man. These prices do not happen unless it's being manipulated. At least in the past, historically speaking, every time that my indicator has done this, they were manipulating it. Happened during Mt. Gox. Showed it during Mt. Gox. Is doing it again. It's actually almost as high as it was at Mt. Gox. It's over 200 now. My indicator is over 200. I think that Mt. Gox was like 220 or something like that. So this is absolutely being manipulated. The way that you can tell is that they aren't actually doing anything with the money. It's staying on the exchanges. So that tells you that at some point they're going to turn around and sell it all. They're just not getting they're just not getting enough what is the word? You think Tether is printed from air? I do. I mean, let me qualify that. Okay, because we're getting into conspiracy theory territory, right? I've always been a stickler on like, you have to prove it. You have to prove it. We know that at one point, Tether was indeed printed from air. It wasn't backed. We know that for a fact. We do not know if that is the case right now. I would say that it's a pretty high probability that if they were doing it in the past, that they would do it right now. Not only were they printing it from air, but then they were using the deposits that they had made and putting it out on the market and investing it and then selling it. So the whole thing is fucking shady, right? Sorry, I shouldn't swear. Well, they're moving up again. I might miss this. I didn't really see a clear signal there. And they are going through some decent liquidity here at 02.5 and 03. So I just I would like to sit it out for a little bit longer unless I get something really crazy. Yeah. So anyways, but again, the reason why I believe that it is, or if it's not Tether, somebody's doing something. You don't reach these prices without manipulation. That would show on the blockchain, exactly. Well, so if what happens is you print Tether, right? You can see the Tether prints. You'll notice that every time that Bitcoin goes up, it's preceded by big prints of Tether. So they'll print the Tether, they'll go and buy Bitcoin on the exchange and move price up. And then you don't actually see any transfers of that money out of the exchange. Like you would normally want to see them like, okay, take it out of the exchange, put it in a wallet, and then use it to buy stuff or to transfer to other people or to do something like that. Or maybe if you want to cash out, you transfer the Bitcoin then to Coinbase, and then where you can sell it for dollars. But you don't see anything like that. You don't see any no the activity on the blockchain in Bitcoin is just stagnant. Like nobody's using it. And it's quite crazy that you have such low transaction value, and yet um, people are still paying high fees to transfer Bitcoin. Like the whole thing is just completely gummed up. It's pretty crazy when you consider it, all right? So if they're not moving it out, they're not using it, then what is it? Where is it? It's still there on the exchange. And so if you have, a couple of different things could happen, but one of them is just somebody big enough finally sells enough to cause a change in sentiment, and everybody decides to dump. And if that happened, I think that we would move down very, very quickly. But another thing that could happen is the government does something to Bitfinex. I mean, they're in court, like literally right now. They're in court. Mm, well, it's true that the Federal Reserve, at least last cycle, that when the Federal Reserve started tightening, that Bitcoin price collapsed. Um, it's very hard to prove that they're connected. This is like one time it might just be a coincidence, but that's what Shalom is saying that. But it's a good observation, and we did point out when the Fed raised that December that hey, the Fed might tighten and Bitcoin might go down. Now, as to why that is, there's also if we say that they are related, there's a couple of reasons why they could be though too. One is that people are using Bitcoin as a hedge against central banking. I don't think that it would be a very good hedge, but you know, you could do if you're a small, if you're let's say you're a big fish, but you're not like an asset manager, that might be the sort of something that kind of person might do. Sure. But it could also just be that when there's free money around for people to invest, then that just means more people are available to put money into risk assets, and Bitcoin was one of those risk assets. And when they were tightening, there was less money to go into risk, and so it went down. That's another potential theory. But again, it's kind of hard to prove it one way or another, isn't it? Mm-mm. Well, it's interesting that we moved up to where we are at O2 half so quickly, and yet it's still slow. The volume is a little weird. You know what? And I've been talking so much, I haven't even gone over into Discord and said hi. Hmm. Anyways, so another thing I should mention, if any of you guys got on the Discord got a private message from me yesterday, just ignore it because it wasn't me. Somebody came in and changed their name to my name and tried to make it look like me, and it was not me. So yeah, wasn't me. Just ignore it. Honestly, I wouldn't. I see no reason that I would ever message somebody out of the blue. Like if we were talking about something and I had a reason to message you, then I would do it. But I don't just message people on Discord just to chit chat. All right. So if you get a private message from anybody on Discord, I would immediately be suspicious. Yeah. Good. Just like I said last week that the bonds were going to raise. It's not conspiracy theory. Well, I mean, I could have told you that bonds are likely to raise into the last week of the year, though, dude. That's the problem. See, there's an issue always in a market with linking cause and effect. So the thing is you can say, okay, why did price go up? Well, price went up because investors are scared and they're buying treasury. You don't actually know that. Price went up because people bought. A good theory for why they bought is because they're concerned about the economy. But unless you can go out and like interview every person that was involved in that market, see the reasoning behind their trades and everything like that, it's hard to conclusively prove that that's what it was, right? Is a trend change not a one-off move? I mean, it's been going up. It's been going up for a while. So, and that's where I'm just saying, feel like we're higher than we normally would be because it's the end of the month. It's happening at the end of the month. And it's been happening. You look here, it did the same thing in April, did the same thing in January, really. Well, December, like the end of December, it moved up again, right? They're doing these at the end of the month when the supply of treasuries is already a little bit constrained because everybody's building their inventory for the month. So you're going to get prices are going to be a little bit higher than they probably real value is actually at. And the Fed isn't telling us that rates are going negative. Like we had Fed speakers out at their conference just last week saying that there's no reason to make any change to rate policy. So, anyways, so Dr. Guru saying you should have a one-on-one with Cracking Crypto about the Tetherfoot a bald brawl. I mean, I don't know if I would really have a whole lot to say about it. Like that's the annoying thing about it is that all I have is this chart. I just let's generate it. I'll just show you guys again, even though I've done this a trillion times, but 29th. It's still going. What are we going to get? What's the number going to be? Oh, it's probably not going to give me a number today. Yeah, it still thinks that it's at 8,000. So I haven't gotten another print. Okay. Here's my chart. That's all I got. I have a chart. It's a model where I try and calculate where Bitcoin is at compared to where I think it should be at, essentially. And anytime that there is a bubble, for instance, here, well, you know what? I should change some things and do that. Okay. Here, 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 and now here, I would say this whole thing, really, when you think about it, okay? Anytime that it has been that high, okay, when it did it these first two times, that was Mount Gox. Mount Gox, what was it? The robot? I forget the name of the robot, but the robot was like stuck permanently in buy mode and was buying even though it didn't even actually have any money to actually buy it with. And it was manipulated. We only reached that price because of manipulation. Okay. It was beyond 200. All right. Now we've gotten one. If with this 9K actually printed, you would actually see another print here at 2000. But I haven't gotten enough data for it to print another candle. But here again, indicative of manipulation. Very indicative of manipulation. So I have a model with a historical track record. And that's it. All I can say is that it's higher than it should be. And that when it gets this high, that it's usually because of fraud, essentially. So if it really is fraud, It's the greatest fraud in the history of mankind. Like, seriously, think about how much, if it's really like fake, think about how much they've printed here to make it do this. It's pretty mind bending to think about and infuriating, really. But so I just have the model. Maybe they make it back up to 10K. That could totally happen. They could. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's possible they get to 20,000. I would be super super shocked if they got to 20,000. But otherwise, the indicator based on the past and past performance is not indicative of future results, but based on the past of this indicator, it says that we're about to drop hard. So that's all I got. And if we had to go into an argument about it, that's as far as the argument goes. It's just like, hey, the chart, that's what the chart says. Argue with the chart, Because anything else that we would say about the specifics of the situation with Bitfinex and the law, and it's just, this doesn't matter, really. I go based off of the strategy. Strategy says don't buy, at least. I mean, that doesn't mean that it can't go higher, but when it's above this, I think if you're in, you try and ride it as far as you can and get out before it collapses. But you don't want to be caught in, because if you get caught in, really anywhere above here, anywhere above 150, you're probably going to lose money. So yeah, that's my argument. The greatest fraud in the history of mankind is in the bond market now. Let's see, it's crazy talk. But the strategy said do not buy at 3K. You're right. It said do not buy at 3K. And it was highly unusual to be getting as big of a pump as we have, and not have gotten value. But it's fine. Look, I'd rather be out than lose it all. You could say, if you had bought at 3K, you could be up triple your money right now. If you've sold. And I'm just warning you, if this actually is happening and we do get another crash here soon, you will not have time to sell. Especially if you're not already on the exchange, which is probably why they're not moving it off of the exchange. You will not have time. It will happen too fast. The blockchain will be gummed up. The exchanges will probably have service outages. You won't be able to sell it fast enough. And yeah, 3,000 might not be where it stops either. Probably, at that point, 1,000 or below is totally possible. It might even go the other way. Like really, what we would like to see happen. Like here after the 6K, right? I bought 6K, sold 10K when it got up to here. That was a good trade. But moderate risk at 10K and 12K. Where do you get that from? Like this is the other thing in cryptocurrencies that just absolutely mind-bending to me is I can show you a chart and I can say I'm buying it here and I'm selling it here because of this reason and this reason. And other people, they come out and they say, oh, well, we could get to 12K or 10K. And where are they getting these numbers? They're pulling them out of their asses. I'm getting a high-pitched voice. You can tell I'm a little bit, but really, I hear the dumbest shit. I tell you what, when it was over here, I would go out every day, and over here too, every day on YouTube, and I would collect the things that people were saying about what they thought price was going to happen. What they thought was going to happen to price. Oh, Bitcoin. Who's this guy? Charlie Lee. They have on CNBC all the time. Bitcoin could reach $100,000 by the end of 2018. Never happened. Never, not even close. And I'm sitting here the whole time. You're stupid if you're buying this. You're stupid. You are dumb. You are really dumb. For real. I thought. And I have a little spreadsheet of all of their of all their price predictions that were wrong. And I just have to ask, what edge do you have that shows a historical probability that you're going to be right about certain price 10K, 12K, or wherever it is this is going to be? Because I can show you my historical probability. It's this one right here. It could be wrong. It's bound to be wrong at some point. And if it's truly being manipulated, then it's almost like the strategy doesn't matter. But I have a historical probability. Can you show that? And I never hear that from anybody. It's just people just pull prices out and post them on the internet because they can. And I've tried to warn people, and this is where I've said it again. We need micro Bitcoin on the CME and a lot more volume. There you go. Micro Bitcoin would be great. Maybe I would trade it if there was micro Bitcoin. No, I mean, I'm still, if it gets down to where my strategy says buy, then I'm going to buy. But, anyways, that's what the thing says. And if you lose the money off of this, nobody can say I didn't warn them. That's all. And it's not like, okay, I guess you could have missed out on a move from 3K to maybe 10K. Whoop-de-doo. Bitcoin is going specifically to 1,399,034. Okay. Well, I tell you what, if you got in at a certain, so me, I just cannot hold an asset through, you're actively managing money, your account, and you hold through a 50 to 80% decline, like, you just don't do that. Okay. But if you were on the hodl wagon, I see no reason why you wouldn't hold until all of the coins are mined. Or, you know what I mean? I would wait until the block reward becomes 0, and then maybe I would think about selling it. But instead, I would rather just pick up the swings. I don't think that the bear is over. I think that they're gonna crash soon. It's not going, but indicator says that it's only a matter of time, so we'll see. The thing is that's funny about this, when I think about it, is like, it's not the first time that we've had this, right? When it was at 20,000, oh my gosh, because remember that we started the stream off of the Bitcoin futures, and I was saying this, and so many people said, oh, it's going to go to 40,000, I was like, no, I don't think so. And they all had all these reasons and said all of this stuff, and then I ended up being right. A couple of people listened to me and did save a ton of money. And then when I bought at 6K and sold at 10K, I said the same thing. Like, it's not going to hold these prices. And sure enough, it went to 6K, and then I said, oh, it's probably going to fail 6K as well. And it did eventually fail 6K. And every day, well, I mean, probably not every day, but almost every day, every week, people would come in, give me a reason why are they buying cryptocurrencies. I'd say I wouldn't buy it. I was right, and those people aren't here anymore. They just disappear. So, I don't know. September treasuries look thicker now, says Alligator. Yes, actually, they are a little bit thicker. They came back down to the 126 even though. So I think that my read that I had when we were up there at the high, that this is just market making, was correct. And I'm not so sure that I want to buy 126 even or not, but we can just kind of sit and watch. Good morning, Ace. So I'm wondering, is he gonna... I feel like this is overdone. And I'm kind of thinking maybe, like we're coming in, oh, the market is going to like fall apart. Well, when it's moved down that much overnight, it's pretty unlikely for them to continue through. Although when they do, it gets really ugly. So I'm wondering if Ace is going to buy or sell, because I'm kind of more favoring along right here. In fact, I might just do it. I would much rather have like 86. Oh yes, I needed to do something else here. Okay, you asked me what I thought about the pullback to 7,500, and I'm not worried, and then we went to 9K. Yeah, but I'm not talking about a pullback from 8,000 to 75,000. I'm talking about a pullback from 8,000 to 1,000. There's not resistance until 10K. I don't. No offense, dude, but I don't. Let me parse my words here. I don't see how you get that, because we bounced pretty hard there off of 9K. So there is definitely some resistance at 9K. Yeah. I don't know if that's like, unstoppable resistance, but it's just at this point trying to make a call on any of the next moves. I mean, really, if it moves up, it's because the manipulators aren't done yet. And if it moves down, it's because the manipulators either finished or lost control. And I don't think that anything else really has edge on the short term, at least. On the long term, we have an edge because we can pick good risk reward. I guess maybe that means sometimes you miss one. That's okay. So what was I doing here? Oh, I need to do two things. So I need to fix my live dashboard here because today is the 29th and we need to change the title. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So there's that. I fixed that. And then we need to come in here and mute this one. Okay, cool. Okay. There we go. Cool. There's no such hard thing as luck. Okay. I'm starting to see legitimate stories about UFOs from major media outlets. Yes. I'll tell you, because my understanding is that what's happening is that there's been a lot of UFO sightings for a long time. And the US military, as in like the past year, has decided to get serious about it and is investigating like all of these claims and trying to figure out what it is. Because some of these stories are like they're seeing something unnatural flying around out there that is super fast. And I don't think that they think that it is like aliens, but I think that the military is concerned that another country might have some really crazy technology, and they're concerned about it. So it's starting to leak out into the media now. They're talking about it a lot. No aliens from other planets, relax. Well, we did get a move up in the E-mini. I should have just taken it at 86. Hmm. Okay. Well, I wanted to look into something, but it turned out to be nothing, so nothing to share with you guys there. Hypersonic quadricopters from Best Buy. Still interesting to see someone other than Alex Jones or Joe Rogan talk about UFOs. That's not a group of people you want to be in. I agree. I don't really know anything about Joe Rogan. I had not. Why are we not long on the E-mini? Because probably because I'm not paying attention, dude. I said at 86, but then I was like, I want a better price. And then I distracted myself for a second and I come back and I'm like, okay, should have done that one, huh? Well, I mean, it might not stop. That's the thing. They might decide to go back up through 27.93. That would be something else. But I would rather get a good price, or a good signal. I'm not really seeing anything super key, and not anything in the treasuries either. They're still just like down at 126 and just kind of like chilling. Interesting that we are at the low of this range and we're at the high in cumulative delta. Maybe a short at 27.8775. PBOC takes aim at yuan shorts, raises forex reserve requirement to 20% after currency tumbles to 15 months low. So China is attempting to defend its currency from falling off a cliff. So let's see if I see anything about that anywhere else. Russia is likely conducting low-yield nuclear tests defying test ban treaty, U.S. assessment says. Ooh, really? That would be interesting. I wonder why. What would they? Why would they bother? Like, what would you be testing? Who knows? I guess. Irish Prime Minister could be a further extension. Brexit in October plays. No, I want that to end. Well, I don't know. Oh, so here's some. You get linking me to some website I've never heard of before. South China Morning Post. Yeah, but there's still kind of the issue, which is like, um, I don't know if that proves that China wants to sell bonds and buy yuan, right? It could just mean that they want to sell the yuan and they're mad that other people are selling it too. You know what I mean? They're trying to stop them because they want to be the ones to sell it. If you want to devalue your currency, you're going to buy treasuries, reduce the, um, you know, the demand for yuan, and cause it to go down. That's how they devalue their currency. Now, if their play is not to devalue their currency, then it could be a different thing. But I don't think I'm smart enough to really know for sure what they're going to do. Alligator not confident after open could be another risk off day. E-mini 2800 broken, maybe a pullback first, then another leg down. Well, they're getting a little volatile there at 2789. Well, Ace was looking at 2787.75, but that's quite a ways away. It actually did touch that for a brief moment, but it didn't go through it at all. I'm just seeing a lot of news hitting this wire about Russia is likely conducting low yield nuclear tests. I wonder why they want to do that. Probably maybe like mini neutron bombs or something. That could be. In bonds, trends followers should be in soon, probably a swing pullback, but hard to call. Well, yeah, I don't know. I already said that the cumulative delta is very wishy-washy over there. Anyways, what was we talking about? Oh, UFOs. UFOs and Bitcoin. Oh, man. When capital leaves the country, the currency falls as people pay premium to exit. The same thing happened in Russia. Well, that might be happening, yeah. But there again again, it's like, okay, if people are using Bitcoin to exit Chinese currency, so you go onto a Chinese exchange, and I don't remember what the deal is. I remember at one point China was talking about banning Bitcoin, weren't they? Right. But anyways, you go and you buy Bitcoin with what you want, and then what? Okay. Probably you transfer that Bitcoin somewhere else, and then you buy dollars with it, maybe. Or you use it to actually buy something that does something. Or you are holding it in as a trade sort of a thing. Then as soon as it starts going down, you don't have a reason to buy it anymore, and you're gonna sell. But the main gist is that you're going to take it off at some point, right? And so the question is always, at what point does the number of people that have Bitcoin and want to sell outweigh the number of people out there that want to buy it? Well, in order for them to continue buying it, new players have to enter into the market. Seems to me like even though we've had this big move up to 9K, I'm not really seeing much more interest from the general public for some reason. I saw a little bit, but it's not really picking up traction. People still seem really, really skeptical about Bitcoin. Maybe there are more people in China that want to get out. I don't know. And there's always, the demand that keeps coming through Tether. But at a certain point, it's going to start outweighing it, especially if something technical happens that actually causes the chartists to go negative. It's just the question of that, like, at what point is that going to happen? And, the indicator is kind of saying that there's a very high probability that that's going to happen because you basically, the amount of people that have bought compared to the amount of people that are actually using the blockchain is like at crazy ridiculous levels. So they're more likely to sell it here. That's why it does it what it says. That's why it does. That's why the indicator works the way that it works. Or I shouldn't call it an indicator. That's why the model. That's why the valuation model works the way that it works. See, they're like buying it here in Treasuries. Okay, they took half bid, but it's still like just quiet market making activity. And it's been like this for almost an hour now that we've been online. And we've also traded both sides of the open. So, and it's unusual to do this sort of a thing on a Wednesday. Now, maybe the equities are going to buy here. If they did, though, I don't see any indication here in the treasuries that they're selling the treasuries. So it's just, to me, a little weird that it's Wednesday and they're not making a move. But maybe they're not making a move because Bank of Canada. I didn't say anything about that in Discord. I should mention that. Low yield. So if the UFOs were another country, it would probably have to be China or Russia, right? So that's kind of interesting. And then the US comes out and says Russia is probably testing low yield nuclear weapons in violation of the treaty. What evidence do they have to back that up? They're detecting nuclear blasts over there with satellites and radiation detection and stuff. Corn future surge 20%. Wow. Yeah, and here again, there's also a lot of talk in the media about the 3 and 10-year yields flipping. So to me, again, it's remember that it's like it has to do with the time frame. So it's significant when the 2-year crosses the 10-year because if you had a recession, 2 years is about as long as the recession takes. When it's the 3-month, the 3-month, it was doing that back in like November, and then you had the 3 months, and then things kind of like all fixed. So to me, 3 months says we could have a rough summer, but it doesn't necessarily mean a recession. When the 2-year flips, then I'm concerned. Probably disturbed by roll and recent volume, though. Checked OI recently. Oh, the open interest. Let's do that. We because we've had pretty significant moves since I last looked at it. So, the open interest and commitment of traders. Yeah, it doesn't work in. You have to use it in Chrome. Them dogs. Bark, bark, bark. Okay. So open interest. We need the 10-year. Okay. Oh, they're kind of all over the place, actually. 124.50. This is like way down there. When we're at 126 today. Oh, okay. 126 is where the highest numbers are. And that might get us, that could have us stuck here for a while. Okay, but what about the commitment of traders in the 10-year? Okay. I think I need to see further back than that. Bring it over here. Actually, do it like that so I can still see. Do that. Okay. And I want to see the last 6 months. Okay. So open interest did increase in March, and it looks like that a lot of that came in on long positions from the asset managers. Yep. How much is that? That leveraged is not actually increasing a whole lot. The leveraged players are short. And they increased it quite a bit there mid-May. While the asset managers took off their shorts. That's interesting. Well, that would actually perhaps indicate that that we're going to move down now at this point. But that's interesting. And it's not as big, it's not like a huge change in the open interest either. Like it's not as high as it was in February, for instance. It's not as high as it was in December, for instance. This is Smash the Bed laughing about asking what Shalom's take on UFOs was. There was something that happened yesterday that we're like, oh, where's Shalom? He would be interested in that news. But now I don't even remember what it was about. Well, they're really quiet today. I think everything that I'm seeing right now. I think I missed my trade in the E-mini. Maybe it could give us a long later on. This is just like a very, very poor environment to trade in, and I would rather just stay out. But is there any reason to think they have visited our spec? Yeah. Well, it could be the U.S. military is just seeing natural phenomenons too. Like, I don't know, chain lightning or something. I don't know. It's been some weird things. So there's some videos you can go and watch, and you can see them. It'll be a little light, and it'll just be on their little camera, and it just moves super super fast. And it's like, what can move that fast? So something just happened there that perked up the treasuries a little bit. Just a little bit. They kind of have already calmed down, but for a moment there, all the level twos kind of adjusted. Hmm. Dum, bum, bum, dum. Man, so yesterday I was looking around at doors, trying to replace his door. And I went and I got one bid, $15,000. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get that one. I think what I'm going to end up doing is buying a door that's actually meant for like outside. But we'll see. Hmm. Canon Trading is doing a webinar on Futures IO about the micros. Might be interesting. I haven't really paid it too much attention to that broker. I think I've maybe watched one thing from them, so I can't say if it'd be super good or not. Attention to that broker. I think I've maybe watched one. That was Twitch. See, so if you're watching on YouTube versus Twitch, the um, the delay is quite a bit better on Twitch. Anyways, it is just super dead. No, and we do have some people still pop in from time to time on DLive. I almost never check DLive anymore. Hmm. Bitcoin bombshell. That's a fun name. You are one person out of 2 billion on one planet of one sun of billions of suns in our galaxy of trillions of galaxies in our universe. So what are the UFO odds? Well, wait, what's this? We did not build the pyramids at 400 tons per block. Sure, we did. Yes, we did. I think people have proven. I'm pretty sure. I will have to go do some research about this today, but I'm pretty sure that people have proven that they can move those. Like they've shown exactly how it was done. They put like moved it over sand or something. I forget what it was, but they've shown that that people could actually move them. Mm-hmm. Any decent site construction company could build the pyramids on time and under budget. I'm pretty sure they've proven that they could build the pyramids. Same with Stonehenge. There's a guy that he's built like a mini Stonehenge in his backyard to prove that normal people can do it. But he won't tell anybody exactly how he does it because those are all of his secrets. But it's all pulleys and levers and everything. I agree. There's no evidence, and when there is no evidence, you should give it no belief. I agree with that. I mean, if I don't think that you have to conclusively prove something to personally believe it, but to go out and tell other people that it's true, you better be able to prove it. you know, Otherwise you should share it as I suspect, or I think maybe. Shouldn't be saying, oh, they definitely did not build the pyramids, unless you can prove that they definitely could not, which is proving a negative, and I don't think it's possible, right? Mm-mm. I hope our civilization gets wiped out. Don't say things like that, Uzi. Uzi predicts world about to end. Markets down 300 points. No, all of our not true. All of our advancements come from hypotheses, including religions. Well, that's why I said you can say it's your own opinion, but when you start getting into and I think that religious beliefs are a little bit different. Like, here's the thing about religious beliefs is that People need them one way or another. You can see here now we live in a non-religious society here in America, and it's actually causing problems, right? Like people need religion in their life, and if they don't have it in their life, they'll invent it in some other way. And don't be surprised if that some other way ends up being more destructive than Christianity is. And so you need it, and it's a different part of your mind, and so you kind of have to compartmentalize it. Like obviously there can be logic and everything, but behind it, but you have to admit that religious beliefs are not based on conclusive proof, they're based on faith, and that's okay. But when we're talking about something like that is a question of fact, like is China buying or selling bonds today, or have aliens visited planet Earth, you know, I think that in order to say that it's definitely happened, you have to be able to prove it, you know? Religions were humans' first attempts at explaining the world, and like the first draft of anything, it was our worst attempt. No, I don't think it's that. I think that faith is a manifestation of our tribal nature, right? Humans are tribal animals, and with one of the ways that the tribe stays together is by having a common shared set of beliefs. And that common shared set of beliefs has to be something that can't be proven or disproven. Because if you can disprove it, then it completely undermines the tribe. All of a sudden, the tribe is without identity and you have chaos. So it tends to be something based on faith. You can't prove or disprove it. And so that's where religion comes from. Now, if you try and replace it with something else, like the Democrat Party, for instance. Good morning, Zaldia. Sorry, I can't tell if that second L is an L or an I, but I think it's Zaldia. Anyways, if you replace it with something else, it might not be as effective. It might not fill that hole in people, and I think that that's what's happening today. Is they're trying to replace it with like politics or climate change or something like that, and so you end up with okay, oh, they really sold that in the E-mini. That's curious. So that was a pretty strong sell, about 5,000 contracts off of the open, but it's holding. I don't know. The state is God. Yeah. Well, okay, so that's another great example. Is like the Soviet Union. They basically replaced God with the state. Like if you've watched Chernobyl, one of the scenes that really stands out to me is that the the people in the plant have like a board meeting, and they send information to the government, and then the government comes back and says like everything's okay. And some of the guys that have gone and see it say that the reactor's exploded and it's open to the air. And the board people say, well, the government has told us that everything is okay, and we need to have faith in Russian communism. And so they replaced faith with the state. They replaced God with the state. And that caused them to make a very, very grave mistake. How much Bitcoin are you sitting on? I'm out of Bitcoin right now. Totally out of Bitcoin. Yeah, so somebody was in Discord this morning masquerading as me, and it's kind of random that people just show up, but um it's kind of funny because it's like somebody thinks that they can come in and cause chaos in our Discord or scam people, but uh they immediately were like, that's not right, and banned him. So, hmm. Anyways, so if you replace it with something else, then you run into those problems where it's like, okay, now you're making decisions based on facts that are supposed to be based on facts, based on faith in something that you really shouldn't have faith in, which is the government. And you end up making one of the most disastrous decisions in human history with Chernobyl, right? So, mm, I don't know if that was. I don't know if there was a point behind all of that, but that was the point of that little discussion. People need to have it some way. It's better. Religion has proven itself to be an effective spot for that in our lives. The state has turned out to be very, very poor. Party, it's turned out to be very, very poor, because some of the Democrats, they believed in the Democrat Party almost like on faith. And then what happened? They lost, and they were completely shaken to the core. So this action in the Yemeni on the open is very interesting. I am not quite sure what to make of this. Fuck religion, talk about price action. I will talk about whatever the hell I want. If I want to talk about the price action at the time because it interests me, I will talk about that. And if I want to talk about religion or UFOs or Bitcoin or how Democrats are stupid, then I will talk about those things. And it doesn't really matter. And if you don't want to listen to those sorts of things, and I know that many people don't, then they just tune out. And that's totally okay. Because, that's how things work. And I'm not looking out there to become the most popular streamer on YouTube, because obviously if I was, I would probably be saying different things, right? My cycles are showing Bitcoin dominance is about to fall off of a cliff. They're going to go over to altcoins. Well, we'll see. So that was just a lot of selling, and they really did not break out of the range. That's really weird. That's just an unusual move. That's about 7,000 contracts short. Well, so the question becomes always when a situation like this with Baldy here is that why would somebody bother to come in and try and troll us? Because here's the thing. I mean, here's the thing. The world is not about tearing other people down. If your life, if a large portion of your time involves going and trying to tear some other person down, like there's some guy on YouTube that you don't like, and so you decide to go into their channel and troll them, okay? You're not going to get far in life doing that, because life is not about tearing other people down. Tearing other people down does not elevate you. It just makes everybody hate you. It just makes you kind of annoying, right? People that are successful, if you want to be successful, the people that are successful are the people that make everybody else around them successful as well. I think that we've done that here. I really appreciate Ace coming in here. I think that everybody's become better traders by watching the trades that Ace posts and kind of getting a feel for that particular strategy and seeing that way of playing the market. It's made everybody better, and I think that that Ace in turn has received some benefit from it, right? And he's a successful trader, right? But if you come in and you're just shit talking everybody else's trades and figuring out, because now the mini did break the low. So this is just an extremely unusual move, but it is a very, very bearish move. And I probably could have bought that, but I'm not so sure that I'm going to take any trade today, or that I will take one before the Bank of Canada comes out. Anyways, I'm just saying, why would you waste your time? Oh, good morning, Nicholas. By the way, I missed that. Mm-mm. Yeah, he's not shocked. I mean, everyone else, he just says has a boner for you specifically. Yes. Anyways, you really got to question what you're doing with your life, dude. I mean, you're not you're not going to get very far in life if you are just going around attacking other people. I mean, he's been in here like what, 30 minutes? And what have you accomplished? Absolutely nothing. Nothing that has made you a better person. Nothing that's made you money. I mean, maybe he has a trade on it and he's made money on it. But then, he probably could be doing better if he was just completely focused on that particular trade that he had. You know? It's just kind of a pointless thing. So yeah. Tell you what, dude. Go and rethink your life. All right? Anyways, shorted NQ there, wrong, it says. They moved down, man. I don't know. This is really weird. So they did break the low by about 4 points, so it was a decent move. Not the end of the world, though. It's just not quite, I don't know. It seems overdone to me. When I see trading in a troll in a trading room, first thing I think of is someone who's losing, someone who tried to build a trading strategy off of a mistake you made and blames you for it. Jan Christian. Well, so I was talking about Baldy. Well, I don't know if that's the question that you're asking, but we were talking about Baldy bullshit because he's coming in here to try and troll me, and so we're saying, go rethink your life because you're wasting your time if you're coming in here. Go and develop a winning trading strategy, and if you have a winning trading strategy, and there's somebody on YouTube that you don't like, you're gonna have no reason to want to talk about it. You'll just go and do your own thing and be successful, right? Who was trolling out? We were talking about Baldy. So, yeah, someone who doesn't trade, obviously. Maybe. I mean, the funny thing is there's lots of people that trade that seem to think that they know what's going on, and then in the long run, we find out that they don't. I think we know that I'm certainly not perfect, right? I had those. I was doing really well, but I had some really, really awful mistakes as of recent. I still get like those tilt days, right? This guy is Isberg, clearly. Anyways, but you could keep in mind we had somebody try and cause some a little bit of nonsense in our Discord. So I don't know why they're showing up now or what the deal is, but he could be autistic. I don't know. It's like trading forum. Everyone worships this talker with 10,000 posts, but that dude has never placed a single trade. Is that? Well, the thing that I find really weird is that people tend to want to be the naysayer. The loudest people rather want to be the naysayer. You know? When you look on the forum and you see somebody that's really loud about their opinion on the markets, you'll notice that it's never the guy that thinks, oh, the E-mini is just going to skyrocket here and you should definitely be long equities and all of these sorts of things. He's never that guy. It's always the guy that thinks that the world is about to end, right? That Deutsche Bank is about to collapse, and that the Chinese economy is falling apart, and that we're about to go into a global depression, and that the entire monetary system is about to fall apart. That's what that guy would tend to say, right? Okay, so the E-mini took a dive there and has recovered. And I'm thinking maybe I want to go short this. If, oops, can't do it because I'm wrong thing. Okay. Okay. Oh, you know what? I didn't have my, I need to change a few things here. So this should be like, I'm going to say like that. Okay. Cool. And here. Why would the world end because of stock market collapses? Well, obviously it wouldn't be because of a stock market collapse. It would be like a monetary system collapse, right? When I say the world is about to end, that's what I mean, right? It's the financial world is about to end. The greatest innovations occur during depressions? I don't know. A lot of innovation did happen during the last depression, didn't it? But there was also kind of like a lot of other things going on too. So that's another one of those uh, correlation does not prove causation. I don't know. I don't want to have another depression. You realize that during the depression, 20% of the United States populace was essentially living in tents. I don't want one of those. Wrong took a loss on that. You got a bit of positive excursion though, yeah. Just didn't take it off fast enough. I don't know. They're being a little wishy right here. The bonds seem to be cooperating a little bit here so far. So maybe the E-mini pulls it out of here. I just love it. Like anytime if somebody, listen, if you don't like my videos, here's what you should do. You should go after the stream, you should go onto the video and leave the most negative comment you possibly can leave on my video about how terrible my trading was. That would just, I would absolutely love that. Your entry sound always freaks me out. I always think I left an order on one of my ladders. You know what? I normally have it turned off. I will turn it off, turn the sound off, because there's really no reason to hear that. Okay, so they are playing with me a little bit here at 03 now. I might have been able to have gotten a fill at 03. The E-mini is kind of going down. They might go down for another look. It's kind of fuzzy. I think that my signal there was okay. I certainly don't like it now though, especially with that 03 ranging back and forth because I could have gotten 03. Yeah. He says it's fine. Yeah, but I did have it turned off. I turned it back, the sound back on for when we were watching like the Fed meeting or something like that, and then I probably should have turned it off afterwards. I think I'll leave it like that unless there's a reason for it. Because otherwise, because my computer doesn't make any sounds that would be useful to any of you guys. Okay. So right now it looks like bonds are very much trading off of what the E-mini is doing. Are we saying that the E-mini is going to pull this out and recover? I don't know. Seems a little unclear. I try to add contract on swing position. So I don't like what's happening here at 03. see here. So it goes offer, and they're only offering 78 contracts. Okay, there was a bit of a buy there in the E-mini. Not enough cumulative delta behind it. It's just ranging at 03. That's a little odd. Got 10 minutes to the Bank of Canada decision. Yes, taking another little bit of a dive there. I don't know if that means that they're going to break the low or not. This may be a little bit too fast. Okay, that seemed to cause something in the Treasuries. Still not quite sure. Okay, now they stacked at 03. Some stops at 04. Looks like the mini is going to try and make a new low. Oh man, some people are selling 03 half though. There's an iceberg at 03 half. Man. Yeah, I haven't been keeping up on the news very well for you guys. Robert Mueller will make first public statements on Russia investigation at 1500 Greenwich Mean Time. Federal funds futures imply traders see an 86% chance of Fed cutting rates in December versus a 79% chance at least Tuesday. So the market really thinks that the Fed is going to have to change. I took the same long on ZN as you earlier, but it held it and it worked out. What did I take a long earlier? I think this is the first trade that I've actually taken. I'm not terribly happy with it so far, though. The E-mini seems really freaked out. So you're saying you took it long at 02 half? I mean, I think that it was fair that it could have gone either way. At the time, though, it looked like Treasuries were going to come off here. I think, though, I need to be a little bit more cautious here because when you get a sell like that off of the open in ES, you don't want to fight it. It's a little odd that the way that it's trading based off of that, because like we have gone lower, but not like by a ton. Yeah, treasuries are ranging around here. They're showing a bit too much ranging behavior. I appreciate the opposing opinions that you guys give. It makes for great conversation. Well, thank you, Shalom. Even though a lot of the things that you say seem crazy to me, I'm really glad that you're here. I think that we've had fun, so it keeps things interesting, right? Just don't understand the way that the internet tends to behave. That people only want to hear what validates their own beliefs, and that just to me is just life would be so boring if everybody agreed with me. You know what I mean? Well, the mini might pull back here a little bit. They sure do look scared though. Like anytime it even thinks about ticking down, the treasuries are like, oh, oh, oh. The amount of interest that the equities are showing right here is not very confidence inspiring. We might see a real move near the market close. Well, we got to remember that we got the Bank of Canada is about to speak in like 6 minutes, right? Ethereum is about to break out. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ethereum make another move. So this move has been mostly driven by Bitcoin, and some of the altcoins haven't really followed. Although some of the altcoins were like way overdone too. My mouth is too dry. Mm, I would really like to get some favorable ticks, but this is not behaving the way that I would want it for that trade to have worked out. I definitely need to get out of this. Well, I could try here. We'll see. So there was a big buy in the E-mini. Litecoin is a little, the way that Litecoin moves on my indicator is really odd, because it tends to just go like extreme every time. Hmm. So my price might go bid here. Um, I'm still a little nervous about it. Yeah, I've always been really cautious. I've always avoided Litecoin because of that. It's just it feels to me like it's like Bitcoin's uh partner in crime for manipulating things, but he makes decent moves if you catch him. But if it ever gives me another buy entry, I'm not so sure that Litecoin will be one of the coins that I'll buy. I'll probably load up mostly on Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash. Okay, O3 went bid again. Weak bid. E-mini did have a good buy there, but it's already pulling back. So the way that it looks right now, even though this might pull out, I don't think that was a very good entry. It did not end up being a very great entry because they pushed through me too much. Probably I could have waited, seen some of the stops, and then taken it short at 03 half. Okay. Bank of Canada decision coming up. About a minute 30. This is usually not like a huge mover for us, but I might not even have to take it off, but I think if I can, I'm going to. Like they'll move off of it, but they don't usually like just jump big time. Bitcoin is just booming. I don't know. I find it odd the number of different people that have come in here today wanting to ask about Bitcoin going up, and that is not a good sign. I don't know if it's almost, I almost feel like that the world is trying to make me uh, acquiesce. They want me to give up on it, but I'm not going to give up on it. It's overbought. It is overbought, and there is nothing, literally nothing, that could make me buy Bitcoin at these prices? No, just going up now. Well, they've been going up this morning a little bit. So they had a little bit of a bear move, and it was like they just stepped in and they refused to let it go. Okay. Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index 1 versus 7. That's not particularly great. Hmm. While they're ranging out 0.2 Bank of Canada keeps interest rates unchanged. Yeah, sorry, I meant on the 1 minute. Oh, hey, we got a favorable tick. I think that's the first one we've gotten. No, nobody's traded into the 1.5. There we go. Now it gives us one. Um, yeah, it does. It does seem like that. The thing what I was saying earlier, I probably weren't here, Matt, but um, I was saying any other chart they would have retraced that, and they would have tested 8,200 again, and they stopped it at like 8,400. And the way that it stops is just like somebody is watching it and going, "Oh, nope, nope, that's not. We can't have that happen," and they buy some more. It's like it's super crazy to me. Hmm. We got a favorable tick and then a little bit of panic buying there again on just a teeny tiny little, well, not a teeny tiny, but a sell in the E-mini. Hmm. Well, maybe move this here. So it looks like that we've developed a range here and that I'm in at the exact wrong spot on the range. E-mini fighting here now. Oh, I need to move this down so I can see the volume over there. Yeah, maybe we'll let it hold. You keep getting decent stacks. I don't know. It's a little odd. We're seeing the same thing over here in ZN M. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Okay. Let's put this one up here like this. Okay. Man, when it drops, it really kind of slumps. Is that bookmap on top of the charts? No, it is it's a feature similar to bookmap, but it's a feature of Jigsaw called the Vista chart. The bookmap chart is probably a little bit better, but the Vista chart does a really really great job in treasuries, I think. And the sorry, the Jigsaw DOM is just the best. So yeah, so nothing's trading into O2. It is a little odd the way that they are trading when they trade down, though. Okay. They're having a good run of buying there in ES, hitting an iceberg at 2782.50. Okay, they get through the iceberg. Not as big of a stack that time when they took O2 half. Of course, nothing's pulling here at O2. Well, they pulled for a second and then they're stacking again. It's changing. It's changing a lot too. The level 2 is being really stoppy pulley kind of thing. Okay, so they flipped it for a second. I've been really wishy-washy on this trade, haven't I? In Vista slash Bookmap, how much relevance would it give you in terms of confluence? For example, I am coming from Forex trying to try the new micro futures. I trade candles only. Say hypothetically I get to a level I want to short. Is the DOM or Bookmap going to show me anything valuable that would push me to take the trade? Well, so definitely it would. So the way that I read order flow, or the way that I would explain order flow to you, is that it will show you if there is something significant about that spot. So for instance, when we were moving up here, the reason I'm of course this is a bad spot just because we're not getting much favorable excursion. But when we moved up here, and they traded O3 half, they traded into O3 half, and then you could see stops at O4. And there was about 400 stops, and then a few more traded into it, and then we traded down. So that right there tells you, for sure that there was stops there and that that's a potential spot that you might want to look for it to turn around. And then sure enough, it ticked down. At that point, if I wasn't already short, I could have taken O3 half short, right? So it almost like confirms the trade that you're already thinking about making because it's at the level that you want. It says, okay, somebody else big also sees something about that particular price, and I can see imbalance in the market. And that's kind of how you read it. It can also show you things ahead of time, like say you want to see it move to a certain level and you see a big order there on the DOM, then you go, oh, okay. Swisso thinks that Bitcoin will be at 6,200 next week. Well, I would like to see you be right. Wrong says he's out again. Able to spot a trade in this section. I don't know if I'm too sleepy or can't spot a trade or if there's legitimately no edge to take. And well, the E-mini is being awfully grindy. I mean, I took a trade. Maybe it turns out. I wouldn't say that it was an amazing trade though. And that my price keeps going bid. Well, I mean, it was good for a long time, but it's been here for a long time. Almost 23 minutes now. Almost 23 minutes now. What are you looking for with the M versus U contracts? So I just want to confirm that they're behaving the same. So I don't know if I'm looking for anything in particular. I'm just kind of opening them both up to see if I see anything unusual. I will say there appears to be more speculative activity in the U because the N is just kind of ticking up and you're not seeing a lot of contracts going back and forth. So I think that the scalpers have switched to U. And if I take any trades tomorrow, I think that I will take them on the rolled over contract. There is some differences. Notice the volume just above the high in the um, June contract. Okay, now we're seeing some more buying in ES, but it's still a meat grinder. Yeah, and they come back to the midpoint of that range very quickly. I can see a little bit of a spike buy in the cumulative delta there in the E-mini. Okay, O2 finally goes offer, and they finally trade L1/2. This is significant. They didn't trade 22/2 in the June contract yet. When is the last day of rollover? Well, the contract trades until like the 15th, right? But first call would it be on Friday. So you definitely have to be rolled over by Friday. Otherwise, you could be asked to deliver $1 million in treasuries. And that wouldn't be very good for your account, would it? Or, if you're farming, I had a guy come in here and tell me that one time he took delivery on a farm contract and ended up with a bunch of corn at his house. That happens. There's stories. There's stories. Yeah. Basically, you want to be rolled over by first call, which is going to be the last day of the month. Last trading day of the month, I guess. O2 is going to offer a little bit traded at 1/2, but they're not just, they're not really stacking. They're not doing anything terribly interesting, although the liquidity did stack behind us. So we could see some continued down moves. In June, there's not very much liquidity underneath of us compared. In September, there's still quite a bit that they would have to get through. Yes, seeing some good buys. Cumulative delta is starting to look better. They might make a move, but it's still in the meat grinder range. Unclear. I'll wait for a level break. Yeah, it's a real grinder. This is the sort of a thing in the E-mini that just tears people up because there's probably tons of retail guys looking to short, thinking that the big run down is finally going to happen, and then it kind of never does it. This is a really frustrating action. That was a good downtick. 1,000 followed it that time. Nobody traded into 1/2. Okay, 28. For me to get any more than one tick out of this, they're going to have to break out the top. I think that the chances of treasuries coming back to 126 even is really, really high. It's just a question of how long they're going to take. They might do it long after I'm gone. But just because of the open interest that's there, I think that they're probably going to get stuck to that price. Hmm. Okay. A little bit more interest when it ticks down, but it's still pretty meh. I'm getting some good buying in the E-mini coming in now. The volume, by the way, in the 30-year has been really strange today. It's a kill zone. I call these kill zone trades one going into high volume on ES. We finally got it on offer at 0.5. I might actually be able to get this price, so I should put it there. This is 2 ticks below the point of control. So Treasuries seem to think that the E-mini is going to pull this out, huh? They get to 27.87, then it could be really good. And there's so much selling there that there's going to be a lot of people caught off sides, huh? Yep. So they kind of almost have to do it now. Okay. So now they're above the open in ES. I should stay awake for the whole market. Yeah. Should always stay awake, right? Okay. Nope, they didn't go for the regular session high. They stepped off of it there. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, Uzi says that he took one from 53 evens to 28, but that was it. Oh, so you did take a short. Oh, that's fun. And you got paid well for it in ZB, better than I am in the 10-year. The spread is not the best for the 10-year right now, unfortunately. Oof. Back below the open. I think they can pull it out, though. I think that buying was good, and they're probably going to have to retrace this whole volume now. Because all of this volume happened at the open, right? So at this point, those guys are losing money. So if we break that 2788, well, probably 2788 makes too much sense. So they might have to go a little bit further, but maybe 2789, then you probably start seeing stops. So I think we could see some good buying coming out of the E-mini here soon, if they're able to pull it out. Okay. Yeah. So some icebergs and stuff up there. Okay. Yep, they went past it. Okay, so there's a new regular session high in the S. I think they need to take another step here, and then we might see some stops. I had a really hard time trying to spot a fade at highs, especially knowing how it behaved last day's rallying so much. Yeah. Well, you know what I think has been happening to me, Lucas, is I'm looking for the long, and because I know that people are scared, and so I'm looking for the rush of panic and buying and everything. And then I catch that one and I go, okay, good, I'm good. And I forget what happens afterwards, because afterwards it's been really strong trends down back, and so today I decided to try and play the slow move on the way back, and that ended up being a really great trade. You know, it's just when remember that's the crazy, right? When it starts to look really crazy and you're seeing very clear stops and things like that, there's a much higher probability of a reversal. It's not guaranteed, but there's a much higher probability of a reversal there. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to have a hard time getting filled at 31.5, but we'll see. There's always going to be an iceberg at that VWAP. Almost always. It's going to be a ton of volume there. The the E-mini did push above its uh, extended session VWAP, and there's still a good Mm, 8,000 contracts that are underwater now that are going to have to puke. They might need to take a bit of a breather, but I think that we could see another push. Hmm. Interesting behavior there at 0.0 in the September contract. Seeing a lot more on the offer in the June contract. 44.14 have traded. I don't know if that means anything. You can definitely see that there is stuff that if you're not looking at both of them that you might not catch. But I don't know. This might be one of the better trades that I've made during rollover week. Rollover week is usually really messy for me. I took a chance on fading the high. Recent action has me nervous about rallies out of nowhere, so I wasn't about to hang on to a short for too long. I hear you, brother. Well, they seem to be taking a breather in the E-mini now. There's still some volume that needs to come out, though. If I was a buyer, I would still be pushing it, trying to get those stops. Saw some stops, but it wasn't enough. Okay. Decent amount of selling there at 126 in the 10-year. Okay, we closed out half of his ZB position. You've been long this whole time, right? No, I took it in U. So I took it in September. I don't think I meant to take it in I wasn't really paying attention to which one I was clicking on when it happened, but I took it in September. Oh, you didn't understand the prices I was quoting. No. So one thing I will say about the June contract is if you look at the open interest, there is a ton of open interest at 126. Um, and that doesn't really make sense when you look at June, but it does when you look at September. So that's kind of weird, huh? So you would think that June would be closer to where all the open interest is. But maybe I need to look into it deeper. Maybe there's different open interests on different months and stuff. I didn't look at it for too long. Hmm. I do think that I can get filled at 31.5, but I think that it's going to be tough. So there's always a ton of volume through here. I have to say, though, the E-mini has pulled back here. Treasuries seem to be treating it like it's just a pullback. Leaning on continuation of risk on. I have to say, to come out on the open, they sell almost 1,300 or sorry, 13,000 contracts right on the open. And then we are able to get above that price with half of that volume. Yeah. There are a lot of contracts that are losing money right now. Well, E-mini is showing some signs of some fighting again. Hmm. Okay. 126 goes offer finally. Nothing trading into me yet. Might not happen this tick. Yeah. Please, Mr. Market Maker, I need a fill. I never look at the CME, probably should. Oh, you mean like the CME website? Yeah. It's not something that is, I'm such a creature of habit and like daily habit, And if you screw up my schedule, I start to mess things up and I make mistakes and yes. Thank you, sir. Happy. I'm very happy right now. Anyways, and if it's something that is like a once a week sort of a thing, I tend to have a really hard time with it. Or especially like a once a month thing. Like if I'm supposed to do something once a month, it's probably not going to happen. It's probably not. And yeah. So like I would love to look at the commitment of traders report every week, for instance, but I don't. Okay, where did you find that OI at price info? Yes. So let's look at it again, shall we? Uh, so here's the CME website, open interest heat map. And if you look at 126, oh, so this is TYU9. Okay, so that is for September. Can it show me TYN9? Oh, okay. Um, no, wait. We're TYM9 isn't that? I don't know which one is which. TYZ9 is it? That's interesting. But anyways, so I guess that this is talking about the August contract, the most volume, the most open interest, especially calls. There's a lot of 100,000 calls at 126. And what do you know? They come back to that price. Interesting that my price, 31.5, has been offered for a bit. Not a lot of trading into 31 though. But they're kind of acting like maybe they could continue. I think they're still going to stop there though. So I think I got a good price. So it's like when you get to that view up, they usually go through it. They usually go through it for a tick. Wow, Gabe secured 3 points and 18 ticks in ZB off of a swing. That's super great. Wow. Well, I caught the 9 today. I'm pretty happy. I can come over here and I can say 93.75. Save. Ta-da! I don't know of any tool that shows open interest flow as it's happening. Is if there is one, then that's a powerful tool to have. I don't know when it does it. Oh, it says as of the 28th. So So it's showing us as of yesterday. And then you would have to check it again the next day to see if it changed. Yeah. There's that. Have you looked at all their tools? So there was that one. The one that I was looking at earlier was the. I have to make this wider apparently to get it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, interest rates. So Fed Watch is one we should check, and the commitment of traders. Okay. So when we look at commitment of traders, we can see here that about midway, well, let's change the history range to just be 3 months. So I can see, you can see it a little bit better. Okay. So you can see here now, there was a little bit of a move up right there. Make it yellow. A little bit of a move up there in open interest about mid-May. Okay. And then it's been flat from here, maybe a little bit higher. And then I look at these lines so I can see that the dealer is pretty much the same as it always is. And I can see here between these last two ones, the asset managers have kept their positions, but the asset managers are why it moved up and they are long. Okay. And on the shorts, what was the change? The change was a little bit of a change in leveraged players. So more leveraged players came in and went short. Take a look at the GDAO on the one we got. Switch chart. Would have been up +6, but thought 148, 149 was the top. Anyways, the COT is really important because if I come back here, I can show you like, I need to show you like maybe 2 years. Okay. Yes. Okay. So last year, I did really good from December. Man, you can't even see that. Okay. So from here, December to about mid-March. So about right there. And what was happening to the overall COT at the time? It was increasing, right? And then I did pretty good in January, February. Anyways, this time period right here was where I did really badly. So what does that tell you? When COT is increasing, there's better scalping opportunities. More people bringing money into the market, more opportunity for you as a scalper to get some money from it. So the COT is important to watch. And you can also see that when the, certain ones, especially the yellow, the leveraged players, when they get too much of the market on one side, there tends to be a shift. And there was in, we'll bring this over. Go way back. Okay. So it was, where did I say? There, July and August. There was kind of this whole thing. October went further. So then you got that. But you can kind of see how when that gets too much, there has to be a bit of a pullback. I think that was that right there. That little move right there. So, and it only comes out like what, every 2 weeks? So it's hard to remember to go and look at it, but it's an important report. Okay. So then FedWatch tool. FedWatch tool is a really good one too, right? Because we can look at the Fed tool. Okay. Nobody thinks that they're going to do anything in June, July. Okay, so they are pricing in a 27% chance of a rate cut. And there's actually some people that believe there will be 2 rate cuts by June. Okay, it's September. Now they're saying a 47% chance of a rate cut in September. And a 13% chance of 2, and a 1% chance of 3 rate cuts. Some people are really bearish here, right? October is the same, and then December is where it's going to start to be really okay. So now here at December, only 13.7% think that it is going to be at the current target rate, and everybody else thinks that it's going to be lower. Now, I tell you what, if tomorrow, not that this would happen, but if tomorrow they came out and said, "Hey, we have a trade deal," oh my gosh, that would be like the Treasury traders that are long would be decimated. It would be the craziest move we've ever seen in the history of ever. Highly unlikely to happen. But it just kind of shows you the way that everybody's positioned. Right now, the market really thinks that there's going to be a rate cut, even though the Federal Reserve has given no indication that it's going to. They're saying we should just keep rates the same. You know the saying, the markets can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent? Yeah. The funny thing about all of this is that the sentiment changes so quickly. Remember, the market was getting really scary. Like, was it the end of last week? I think. No, it was the week before that. It was the week before that. Right? Right here. It was getting really scary. And then there was some good news that came out and we're all up. And then we were like, well, I don't think that a trade deal is actually going to happen. And then when they finally realized that this week, then they sold. And it's super negative. I wouldn't be panicked until, here's the thing. There's plenty of reason for things to, there's plenty of room and space, right? The E-mini is still relatively high. 2,300 is the spot where people are going to be like, there's a recession coming, right? Plenty of time to watch it and decide what's happening. But also plenty of time for economic indicators to come out and show that things aren't as dire as they're being, that the effects of more tariffs is not as bad as the market is maybe pricing in, for them to maybe make a trade deal. Any number of things could happen, right? What are the odds of Trump folding and giving China what they want? In my opinion, trade deal or no trade deal, the market will fall. Well, so now you're just kind of... If it depends on how the trade deal happens. If a trade deal came out tomorrow, the market would absolutely rally. Big time. It would be like the biggest single day of gains ever. If it happened tomorrow. But if over a period of time the talks appeared more and more positive and a deal was almost a done thing and we're just waiting for the deal to actually happen, then everybody's already going to have it priced in. And then at that point, then when you do actually sign the deal or whatever, or like it's official that it's going to happen, the market will probably sell the news on that sort of a thing. But at that point, we would already be at new highs. That's the way that I would look at that. The more of a surprise it is, what happens very often is that you've got all these retail traders and they think X is going to happen. I think there's going to be a trade deal. And everybody else thinks that there's going to be a trade deal. So then it comes out and there is a trade deal and the market goes down. Oh, what happened? Well, everybody had already bought it up on the idea that there would be a trade deal and are taking profits. So it's going down. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Yes. Now, if it's unexpected, like either nobody was predicting it or there was rumors, but the market overall didn't believe the rumors, then you'll get a big move off of it in the direction that you'll expect, right? It's just like the economic. You got to think of it just like the economic numbers, right? If it comes out, it's 55. You're expecting 55. There's a big buy up into it, and then the number comes out and it's 55. What are they going to do? They're going to sell it. They're going to take their profits. They knew what it was going to be in there, and now there's no reason for it to be there anymore. 5K points of bag holders. Well, I think the action this morning is kind of shows you though where being super pessimistic on the retail side can really screw you over. You've got to be the one that's doing it when the market is up, which is hard because when the market is up, it just moves up and up and up and it just moves against you. Being the guy that goes short, it really pays when it works out, but it's hard in the long term to really play that. That's where I always one of the things that will irk me is people will be offering education, and I've never taken this like the one that I'm thinking about. I've never taken that course, so I can't say if it's good or it's bad. But one their big thing was, hey, we actually show you the results of a trader that was trading this strategy at the time, and this is how we came up with it and why we decided to start doing the education. And you look at it, and it's really good trading. But guess what? It all happened during 2008. So it's like, well, yeah. Of course you made money in 2008 because if you happen to be going short, then you made money hand over fist. But that doesn't mean that you made money since then. And that doesn't mean that you're going to make money in the next year. Mm, I'm with Lucas. That's why I scalp. I feel like I tend to have an okay read for the longer term market. I do think that we're going to move down a little bit, at least to 2,700. I think 2,700 is in our future. Maybe not today or tomorrow, maybe not even next week, but I do think that we are going to move down there. Beyond that, who knows? We could go all the way to 2,300. It's really hard for me to predict that well. But the probability of me being able to predict the next 6 ticks, I've been getting it about 50% of the time. I've been doing pretty well. I'm happy with my trade today. You can tell when I'm happy and when I'm not, can't you? I'm like not very good at hiding my emotions. Okay, so let's post the cryptocurrency chart. I really think that we're getting close. New features on Patreon. That's cool. So I tell you what, we need to talk about UFOs more. So go and watch all of the UFO videos that you can, and come back tomorrow, or maybe post in the video comments your favorite UFO videos, and we can talk about what are the UFOs right now and why is the military so concerned about it. Does Russia have a secret new military plane that is super, super fast? I think they might. Maybe they figured out how to make the EM drive work and that's how they're doing it, huh? That would be interesting. I don't think you're going to hear anybody talk about it, but I am really intrigued by this report that Russia has actually been testing above ground nuclear weapons in small yields. That's could be a significant development that would fly under the radar of the general populace. Like, they're not going to talk about it a lot, but that's going to change the way that the military approaches things, doesn't it? That Verge. One of these days. Okay. It's Wednesday. Oh, so you know what? We should get. Oh my gosh. So we went to. How far did we get? 20 half. Oh, no, 20 half in this one. Oh, I took it out at exactly the perfect spot. I am so proud of myself, guys. Not to talk myself up or anything, but I am really proud of myself. That is probably the best range bound trading day trade that I have ever made. Well, probably not the biggest in profit, but I when it's really slow and then the trade is counter to the trend is what I made, that I have a hard time with that. It usually doesn't work out for me. So, it's good. And deleted. And we post the picture here. I need to change the thing. I should put it so that like there's like a little halo around me, so then they see there's a person in there. I think that would help. But I don't have the time to figure out how to do that right now, and I'm not a very good picture maker person. 29. Save. Cool. Change the thumbnail. I kind of believe in UFOs, but I don't like them. They are creepy. Do you ever watch this show when we were kids, like Unsolved Mysteries? Ooh, that show used to really freak me out as a kid, especially the ones that where they talked about like maybe they were abducted by aliens and things like that. They mentioned they found the US low yield ones more threatening because it made them more likely to be used. Pump and run pattern on the gold chart if anyone likes precious metals. You should post that in the Discord, Shalom. There's a metals channel in there. And there's a couple of people that trade it that might be interested in it. What else was I going to do here? Yes. So my little note here for today is going to be pause. You can hear myself talking. Okay. One of the better counter trend trades I've made. Super slow day, but I'm really proud of how I traded. Good deal. All right, so I got that. Thumbnail, comment, got the charts. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. As always, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps out. Make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell icon. The bell icon will give you a notification on YouTube when we go live, so it will be a lot easier for you to find the stream. So that really helps. I really like to hear how things went. It's hard for me to keep track of everything. Like I know Wrong took a couple of trades, and I don't know. I think he's up right now. It sounds like Uzi made one, but it's hard for me to keep track of, and I like to know. So if you're comfortable doing so, I would love to hear how you did in the comments of the video. And you don't even have to be specific. You could just say it was a really range bound day and it really sucked, but I like to want to know how things are going. So and that's all of those things. You should throw an Illuminati sign somewhere. I wish that there was like a hand sign for Illuminati. Is there something? Is there a hand sign? What we need to do is we need to have a stream where I pretend that I'm a globalist shill Democrat. I think that would be fun, and I can say all of the things that the conspiracy theorists say that the Illuminati would say, and you can argue with me, and I can I think it would be, maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Anyways, but in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.